In this video today, I'm going to take you through the exact method that I give to all my students with all of their scales, all of their modes, and everything in between of how to get a horizontal motion of a scale instead of a vertical motion. Of course, the main reason for this is we don't want to stay in a box. That's the number one thing that people complain about when they start learning things like the cage system or their scales or whatever. You can do this with pretty much any scale or arpeggio. I'll show you what I mean about that in just a moment, okay? But what we're going to do first is we're going to dissect how to actually move scales across the fretboard. Let's get into it. So step one, the first thing that you need to know before we get into this is whatever scale you're using, how many notes are there actually in the scale? So what the heck does that mean? Well, you need to know how many notes you're going to play before you hit the octave, because typically something like a pentatonic scale, usually people just play it like that. However, if you understand that a pentatonic scale has 5 notes, you'll know that the next note, which is the 7th fret on the D string as this example, that is your octave spot, okay? So this is where people make the big mistake, is what you could do is instead of using your ring finger right there, all you have to do is actually just use your index finger and slide it up, okay? So step number 2, what I want you to do is when you play those first 5 notes for this minor pentatonic example, I want you to pay attention to the shape that your fingers are creating. What does that mean? So if we take a look at the first 2 notes of the scale, we have index to pinky, right? Then from there, we have index to ring, and then we have index. Okay, so the big lesson here is when we are moving up to this octave, we're gonna repeat the exact same shape that we did right here. We're gonna do index pinky, index ring, and then index. The only difference is obviously the B string, we got to move it up an extra fret. It has to do with intervals of how the strings work. That's why whenever you tune with the open strings, you got to move the G string back a fret to get the open B string. We'll talk about that a little bit another time. But for this sake of the video, all I'm really doing is I'm taking the same exact shape right here of the first 5 notes, and I'm just shifting them here. And that's it, okay? You can keep doing this process until you run out of strings. So right here is my 5th note, which is the note G, or the 8th fret of the B string. All I need to do is slide it up to the A, which is the 10th fret, which is up a whole step, index pinky, index ring, and then from there, just do some counting. It's not a big deal. 3rd fret is a G on the high E, which means that up an octave is the 15th fret, so the first dot after the 12th fret, right? And then just go up to the whole step, which is the octave of A, which is your root. So we have position number 1, number 2, number 3. Okay, now you have a lot of choices going backwards. Obviously, before we go any further, I just want to remind you, my masterclass is open right now for enrollment. If you are really struggling with guitar, if you just want to get better, if you want to sound more professional, if you're really serious about becoming as good as you possibly can on the guitar, it's a really awesome solution if you're looking for accountability, if you're looking for structure, if you're looking for the ultimate guide to being able to be an awesome lead guitar player. Everything from your technique, to your theory, to your fretboard knowledge, to your general discipline for the rest of your life on guitar, because guitar is a lifelong instrument. We cover all that. You'll be part of an awesome community. Click the link below, and I hope to see you there. Could do it that way, and that's totally fine. But what I would personally recommend that you do is, while you're all the way up here on the 17th fret, just do the pentatonic scale vertically, but up the octave. Okay, and that's if you're just a beginner. So that is literally 3 different ways of playing one single scale. So you can see how the floodgates can really easily open up when you start learning how to do this with every single scale. So let's take a second example. Let's do a major scale, okay? Let's say we're in C major. Okay, on the 8th fret, we're gonna do a 3-note per string C major, which is 8, 10, 12 twice for the first 2 strings. And then the 9th fret, which is the note B, which is our leading tone, or our 7th note in the scale. So stop, step 1, was to know or figure out how many notes there are in a scale. So a full diatonic scale has 7 notes, right? That means that after we play our 7 notes, all we need to do is slide up 1 fret, because the leading tone or the 7th note is 1 fret away or a half step away from the root, and then repeat the same shape again. B string, you got to go up 2 frets, so an extra fret, and then once we're at this 12th fret, go up to the 13, and then you're there and you're good to go, okay? So step 1 we did was we counted how many. Step 2, we need to remember the shape, which is just this separating shape twice, and then up an extra fret for the last string. Separating twice, up 2 frets for that B string. Same thing right there. And from there, you just got to count and figure it out if you don't have the notes down in that specific key yet, okay? So if you're with me, we're going to try this with the harmonic minor scale now, and we're going to see how that looks, okay? Because the harmonic minor scale, it's all we're worrying about is the standard natural minor scale, but we're going to raise that 7th note, okay? So let's go into B harmonic minor on the 7th fret. Okay, all we need to do in this case is play the first 7 notes. Okay, remember how many notes there are, which is 7. That's step 1. Step number 2, figure out the shape. Index, ring, pinky twice. Go up an extra fret for the last string, the 3rd string down. Okay, then slide up a fret to the root. Up an extra fret for B. And then there you go. Now you're all the way up. So the possibilities of this are honestly endless. So what we can do now is we can take a look at a couple of arpeggio shapes, and I can show you how to move those up with arpeggios. Okay, so like let's stick with the key of B minor as this example, and what we'll do is we will work with a standard B minor root 3rd 5th shape. Okay, so we do 7 to 10 on the low E and then 9 on the A. All we need to do from there is know that down 2 over 2 for the octave, and then just do the same shape here. You can also do it backwards that way too if you want to. Okay, let's try another one. Why don't we go through a dominant 7? Why don't we do A7? Okay, so technically speaking, all we really need in this case is 4 notes. We need a, we'll do it in 3rd inversion because in my opinion that's the easiest way to do it. So we're going to do the G to the A, so 3 to 5. Then we're going to do 4 to 7, which is the 3rd to the 5th. Then from there, that's where we started. Now you're all the way up there. So in theory, if I just only knew how to shred with this, if I was in D minor, sounds pretty cool, okay? It's not too bad. So this is just a really easy way of getting the entire fretboard down scale-wise and arpeggio-wise, okay? The arpeggios that I typically teach, I don't typically teach those ones that go that way, but you can absolutely use them. They're especially really good for riffing, in my opinion. For the shredding style, though, I more so would recommend that you work on the 3 tonic and 3 dominant shapes that I give in my masterclass, as well as on my channel. There's a video about it, so you can click on the link below. There's tons of awesome videos about that. But that's essentially what we're working with here, is we're breaking things down in octaves going this way. Guitar is a very linear instrument. It's meant to move this way, and even sometimes this way. It's like Marty Friedman said, it's like a map, right? There's highways, there's side streets, alleyways, all kinds of cool stuff that you can go through and figure out on the guitar, okay? So you can imagine a scenario of a guitar player who knew all 7 modes of the major scale, and they knew them each 3 ways. So that's 21 ways of playing in one single key, which is pretty freaking awesome if you ask me. So you could imagine if you gave a beginner this opportunity with, let's say, pentatonic minor scale like we did, that's 3 ways of playing it, so there should be no excuse for you getting stuck into the box, okay? In my opinion, this is the easy way to get out of the box, and I give it to all my students, and I'm hoping that it will help you too. If you do want some real help, if you want some awesome accountability, if you want to be a part of an amazing community of guitar players, click on the link in the description. You can apply to join my masterclass. We go over everything from practice routine, techniques like pick sliding, sweep picking, economy picking, tapping, all that good stuff in combination with classical based music theory, and we're very heavy with our theory. We work on the fretboard and getting every single key down in the circle of fifths, all that really good stuff. Everything under the sun with guitar is covered in that class. So if you are interested in applying for that, we'll talk to each other about it and we'll see if it's right for you. So I'll see you guys in the next video.